Hey everybody, thanks for coming to my Kickstarter page. My name is Gregory Scott, and this is my friend Amber, and I'm writing a book. Just wanted you to know what my book was about. So I decided what I would do is I would tell Amber, thanks for spending your time with me and listening. Now you haven't heard anything about this book, so it's an opportunity for me to tell you and her at the same time, so you guys can get an idea of what the book's about. Plus she'll hear it for the first time. It's easier for me to explain it to her than to try and explain it just to the camera. Okay, and it's a little bit easier, and you'll get. I want her to ask me any questions and stuff, and a lot of times it's the same questions that you're going to be looking at on your computer and going, oh, I want to ask him that question so bad, but she'll be the one to be able to ask you that question. Okay, and hopefully I'll be able to answer it. Anyways, Amber, thanks for spending time with me and doing this. I really appreciate
you're welcome.
it. Hey, I told you I was writing a book. Now my book is historical fiction. It's a fictional story about the centurion soldier that stabbed Jesus Christ while he was on the cross.
Okay.
Okay? And, it says in the Bible that when the centurion pulled out his spear, blood and water came out. Alright? And in my book, the blood and water comes out and hits this guy right in his face, gets in his eyes, ears, nose, mouth.
Right. He
actually drinks the blood and the water. And because of that, he's now immortal. He's 2,035 years old. Okay? And, the only thing that can kill him, okay, is his own spear. Because it's the spear that stabbed Christ. And because of that, it's now a cursed spear. So it's the only thing that can kill him. Alright?
Okay.
Now, you tend to accumulate things over a few thousand years, right?
Right.
Well, in 2013, he's actually worth over $40 billion. This guy's one of the wealthiest men in the world.
Okay.
Okay. And one of the ways that he makes his money is he owns pharmaceutical companies. Alright, so what he'll do is he'll buy up a company that comes out with a drug and the drug doesn't do very good. Alright? And what happens is the value of that company will go down. Right? So he's able to purchase that company on the cheap. Okay? And what he's able to do is he mixes his blood with water, and then he mixes that water with the drug, and all of a sudden that drug starts healing people left and right. And that's how he makes most of his money. So what do you think so far?
I'm a little baffled that somebody's lived for over 2,000 years.
Right. Now this is a fictional story.
Okay.
It's historical fiction.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions or anything?
No. I want to cover.
Good, pretty good so far.
Okay, yeah.
Well, anyway, so what happened is I was working on a job, and I was actually driving a taxi. Okay, a little over a year and a half ago. And driving this taxi, I had a gentleman in the back seat of my car, and he was a professor of literature.
Okay.
And this professor told me, he goes, man, what a great story. I told him basically what I just told you.
Right.
He's like, oh my God, Greg, that's a great idea, man. This is incredible. He says, but I'm going to give you some good advice. You need to go back and rewrite your book.
Okay.
You're rewriting it all. You're doing it all wrong. And I'm like, what? And he goes, no, man, you need to hide your protagonist. Don't let nobody know who this guy is until the end of the book.
Okay.
Because people will turn page after page after page to get to the end of the book to find out what the story's all about. And what I was doing in my book, I was telling him, oh, he did this, how great, grand, and wonderful. He told me, he says, Greg, people will not, they straight up, they will not stand for that. Because they're told them all the way through, halfway through the book, they're going to
giving them too much.
They're going to close the book, put it on a shelf, and they're never going to open it up again, and you ain't never going to sell another book. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, you're absolutely right. I said, well, how do I do that? How do I hide the protagonist? He goes, I don't know. You're the writer. You figure it out.
So what have you come up with?
Well, that's what the book has come out to now. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell everybody else, basically how I hid the main protagonist, the main guy. So I'm going to give them a little overview of the first chapter, get them a little excited about the book and exactly the way it's going to go. Okay. Now the book starts out, okay, the first chapter, there's 15 people found massacred in a warehouse. Okay? Now those 15 people are all dead. There's 2 survivors. One's a multi-billionaire, and the other one's his personal doctor. Well, the cops are there, so they load them up in an ambulance and send them to the hospital. Well, the cops are actually on scene looking around inside the crime scene trying to figure out what's going on in the warehouse. And they're looking around, and all of a sudden one of them realizes there's no bullets anywhere. There's hundreds of shell casings everywhere. Okay? All these bodies, blood everywhere, hundreds of shell casings, but they can't find one bullet. Not one of the bodies, not in the walls, not in the doors, not in the pallets, nowhere. They can't figure out where the bullets are. And they heard gunshots for a half an hour before they even came into the warehouse. So the cops are like, man, we need to find out what happened. Let's go talk to the survivors. So they come to the hospital. Now when they get to the hospital, the emergency room doctor comes out and says, hey, listen, man, your billionaire's dead. There ain't no saving him. He bled out. The cops are like, are you kidding me? Oh my God, that's bad news. Well, what about the other guy? Well, the other guy's fine. He's upstairs in his room. He doesn't have a scratch on him. And the cops are like, wait a second, he don't have any wounds of any kind? There's nothing wrong with this guy? And he goes, no. The doctor says there's nothing wrong with him. And so, but the doctor also tells him, he says, wait a second. He says, we can't figure out where all the blood come from because he was covered in blood. He had blood from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet, and we can't figure out where the blood came from. And the cops told him, he said, well, we can tell you where that came from. It came from all the blood splatter in the warehouse. There was blood everywhere. All the bodies there was blood everywhere. And the doctor looks at him and he says, no, we checked all the blood that was on him, and we found out that all that blood was his own blood. That's why we can't figure out where it came from. And the cops are like, wow, that's strange. Okay, well, we need to talk to this guy. Where's he at? Well, he's upstairs in observation on the 2nd floor. So they go upstairs to talk to this guy. Now, to give you a heads up and give you guys a heads up, they go upstairs to talk to the guy. All right? The person they're going to talk to, he's the centurion soldier, the doctor. Okay? Okay. He's a centurion soldier. The old man that was playing the billionaire, that was the 80-year-old man that died, okay? He's the centurion's 375-year-old son.
Okay, well, where did you get this from? Okay,
well, give me a second.
Let me
tell you what happens with the cops when the cops come and everything, and they go upstairs and talk to him. What happens is the cops go upstairs to talk to this guy, and they ask him to say, dude, you got some explaining to do. We need to know what happened. We got 16 dead bodies here, and you're the only survivor. We can't, I mean, what the heck happened in this warehouse? He said, well, I know I can tell you everything that happened. He goes, I know you're wanting to know, and I'm more than happy to tell you the whole story, but I need to start the story from the beginning. And when I start the story from the beginning, I'll be able to tell you what happened to the bullets. I'll be able to tell you why I got blood all over me, and it's my own blood, and I can tell you the whole story. But let me start the story from the beginning so you can get the whole story. Okay. And the cops are like, all right, we'll tell the story from the beginning. And then he tells them, he says, well, it all started about 3 weeks ago. And that's where the book begins. And my centurion is actually my book narrator. He narrates my book, and that's how I hide it.
Okay, this is good. This is good.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
This is good.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Well, this sounds like a pretty incredible story, and it's mind-boggling how you came up with all these ideas based off of a historical fact. It's just a really...
It's one of those things that I look at every day, and I get people, and when I tell them a story, they get all excited, and they're like, oh my God.
Well, to see it in a movie would probably be even more intriguing, and then the dramatic part of it would
That's one of the things that people talk about.
Well, I'm in, and I hope everything goes great, but it sounds like a great story, Craig, and I'm happy to get this chance to...
well, I wanted to tell somebody the story. They'd never heard it before.
It's intriguing, definitely, and it makes your mind really wonder where the story's going to go next, and I can't wait to find out.
Well, I knew I'd have a perfect subject to tell my story.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Greg.
Thanks, sweetie.
And I can't wait to see the movie when it comes out. I will be the first one in the seats. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Bye.
Seeing my video. Hope you guys like my Kickstarter page. Pledge, so I can get this project
T-shirts, movie done.
We'll have it done. Thank you. Bye-bye. God bless.